Hello comic book fans, today we're going to review the first episode of Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. Spoiler alert. Yes, I know that's not a comic book per se, but since Star Trek Discovery has been adapted into comic book format, we can use that as a jumping point to review this particular episode. Besides, it's something that I really want to get off of my back. So here it is, my review of Star Trek Discovery, Season 2, Episode 1. Captain Gabriel Lorca has apparently betrayed the Federation during the war with the Klingons, and Captain Christopher Pike has taken command of the Discovery while they are on the way to Vulcan. They were headed to Vulcan to pick up their new captain, but Pike had to take control of the Enterprise after the Enterprise was damaged while responding to some strange signals. The Discovery resumes the investigation, and that's when the action begins. Now here's my review. I have a love-hate relationship with this show. I grew up on Star Trek. It's the first show I remember watching. I even caught some episodes during the series' initial run when I was a wee child. Most Star Trek fans never saw the original broadcasts, only catching the series when it went into reruns. I have been a loyal fanatic ever since I was 6 years old, and my Star Trek has to be done right. I enjoy the Abramverse because it doesn't mess with my original timeline for the original series. But now we come to Discovery and CBS' attempt to bring Star Trek fans aboard its streaming service. I have to say, I'm uneasy. Technically, this is one of the most brilliant shows ever produced. The action is great, the special effects are top-notch, and the direction and pacing are fine. Also, James Frain does an impressive job channeling Mark Lenard to give us an intense portrayal of the beloved Vulcan Sarek. And I'm truly impressed with Anson Mount's portrayal of Christopher Pike. He has the no-nonsense, brooding attitude that Jeffrey Hunter brought to the character, and he even slightly resembles Hunter. All in all, it's fun to watch. But fans are mixed at best, me, and upset at worst. Why are Star Trek fans not taking to this series the way they have other Star Trek series in the past? Why has it caused a rift in fandom? Here's what CBS gets wrong, which upsets us fanboys, as we've been dubbed. The first episode of Season 2 has a discussion where Sarek says that he wanted Michael Burnham to teach Spock empathy when dealing with humans. Say what? Sarek did not want Spock to interact with humans at all at this time. He wanted Spock to attend the Vulcan Science Academy, and Spock went on to Starfleet instead. Sarek did not soften to humans until the Journey to Babel episode, and he still harbors some resentments toward the species, thinking they were inferior until the events in Star Trek III.
As I recall, I opposed your enlistment in Starfleet. It is possible that judgment was incorrect. Your associates are people of good character.
They are my friends.
Even though Frain does his best with what he's been given is not Sarek. This is why I have difficulty believing in the Sarek-Burnham relationship. It has nothing to do with her race or sex. I genuinely like the character, so it doesn't have anything to do with her as a person. It's Sarek's relationship to her. I didn't have a problem with Sybok in Star Trek V because he had left on the quest long before Spock's birth and being considered a rebel to the family, so they wouldn't have discussed his existence at all.
I ordered you to defend your ship.
You ordered me to kill my brother.
Look, the man may be a fellow Vulcan, but that doesn't...
No, Captain, you do not understand. Sybok also is a son of Sarek.
You mean he's your brother? You made that up.
I did not.
You did too. Sybok couldn't possibly be your brother because I happen to know for a fact you don't have a brother.
Technically, you are correct. I do not have a brother.
There, you see? See?
I have a half-brother.
I gotta sit down.
The Vulcans are so secretive that the Enterprise crew didn't even know that Sarek and Amanda were Spock's parents until the Journey to Babel episode.
As soon as you're settled, I'll arrange a tour of the ship. Mr. Spock will conduct you.
I prefer another guide, Captain.
As you wish, Ambassador. Mr. Spock, we'll leave orbit in 2 hours. Would you care to beam down and visit your parents?
Captain, Ambassador Sarek and his wife are my parents.
So, even though it's possible for Burnham to have been raised by Sarek, and this not be known until now, it is way too out of character for Sarek. He was a character that practically disowned his own son after his son defied his wishes. Why would he take special interest in this human? If he did have compassion for this particular human, then why do we see animosity towards humans as a whole until the events of Star Trek III? Yes, Sarek married the human Amanda, but he considered her to be above average for a human. She was simply the best, better than all the rest. The presence of Michael Burnham in Sarek's household is not, dare I say it, logical. And now we come to Spock. The show has been teasing us with the fact that Spock is going to become a character on Discovery. We don't see Spock, outside of him as a child during flashback scenes, in this episode, but we do hear his voice on a recording, and so far, he's well done. Ethan Peck has a beard, judging from the trailer, but other than that, there's a resemblance to Leonard Nimoy. He may even be more spot on to the character than Zachary Quinto, but even here, we get a hint of deviation from the source material. During the episode, a character makes reference to the fact that Spock implies that logic is the beginning of wisdom. Yes, Leonard Nimoy's Spock does say that, but not until Star Trek VI. During the original series, he is striving to seek leaving his emotion behind in favor of logic, to the point of seeking the Kolinahr discipline, which would purge all remaining emotion in favor of logic. It wasn't until the events of Star Trek, the motion picture, that we see Spock embracing his human side and realizing that logic isn't the end-all of knowledge. So CBS is managing to alienate a good section of the fan base it needs if Discovery is going to continue and be a successful series. When you deviate from the source material, you will fail. Look at the DC Extended Universe. With 7 movies under its belt, it has 2 bona fide successes critically as well as commercially. That's Wonder Woman and Aquaman. They were the only 2 that stayed faithful to the source material without deviating. If Discovery is to continue and succeed with fans, it has to confront the issues I brought up and do some corrective maintenance. 2.5 stars, a 6.7 rating from this reviewer. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise for more information. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. And that was our look at comic book reviews for this week. Until next time, this is Kevin Gibbons saying so long and keep reading those comics.